Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And I am your host, Chris Duffy, and I'm so excited for this show. It's our first ever edition of Wrong Answers Only. This is an interactive show where a panel of comedians are going to try and learn about exciting research from a scientific expert. And while our scientific expert is going to be giving the real answers, our comedians are going to get points by giving the best wrong answer. And of course, because scientists are people too, we're going to try and find out a little bit about what our shark scientist is like outside of the lab and outside of where she's doing her research. Before we get into the action though, on this show, we really want you to be involved. So we want to hear your jokes. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear you playing these games right alongside with us. So if you look at your browser, right below where you're watching, you should have the ability to type comments where it says Q&A. And I already see a lot of people are typing comments now. We already have a lot of questions. I expected that most of them would be about sharks. One person said, how can I ask my grandma? How can I get my grandma to stop asking me to have children? Which is, that's an important life question, and we will try and solve that over the course of this episode as well. And then lots of good shark questions here. And we're going to get to many of these. Throughout the show, we're also going to periodically be using polls. So if you look right to the right of where it says Q&A, you'll see polls. And just to test that out, we're going to throw up a test poll right now. So click over to that and answer our test poll right now. It should be right down here somewhere down there. While you are answering that, and also if you don't see it, don't worry, you're still going to enjoy the show, even if you can't do the poll. But hopefully that poll came up for you. You can click to it and click your answer. We have designed a very special feature in this show, which is to recognize those audience members who are true champions. So in every edition of this show, we will include audience members who answer trivia questions correctly on the Scroll of Glory. Now, this month, we obviously don't have the people who answered previously last month because this is the first ever Wrong Answers Only. So this month, our Scroll of Glory honors the scientists and inventors from the past who have changed all of our lives. So let's bring up this month's Scroll of Glory right now. So you can see, right? We have the person who invented bumpers for bowling, sporks, pizza, heard of it? Okay, a person who turned regular cheese into string cheese. You could join this illustrious list. All that you have to do is after this show, when you get sent our post-show email, respond correctly with the trivia question. And if you get that correct, you will be on next month's Scroll of Glory. You could be on the list with all of these incredible people. It could be your name next to the person who's studying sloshing coffee. That's a pretty big prize. Now, there are 3 people who are going to be playing for an even bigger prize, which is the chance to win tonight's show, to be the champion of Wrong Answers Only. We have an incredible panel of comedians, and they are going to be playing tonight. We have Demi Adejuyigbe, Aparna Nancherla, and Zhubin Parang. Hello to all of them. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
And now we also have an incredible expert who you all are going to get to know a lot better and we're going to be playing with. And I don't want to introduce her. She's going to introduce herself. So let's hear from our incredible shark expert right now.
I've always been interested in marine biology. I mean, I was born on an island, so my first memories are of like me being on the beach. Sharks have such an important ecological, economical, and cultural importance around the world. If you want a healthy planet, you need a healthy ocean. In order to have a healthy ocean, you need healthy shark populations. Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Christina Marquez, and I'm a Latina marine biologist based out of Australia.
Melissa, thank you so much for being on the show and letting us talk to you today about your research on sharks.
Thank you for having me. I'm super stoked to be here.
So panelists, you're going to get a lot more chance to talk to Melissa over the course of the show, but this is your first opportunity to hear about what she does. So what is the question that you've always wanted to ask a shark expert, or the question that you most want to ask right now? Each of you is going to get to ask your first question right now. So let's get started with you, Demi.
So you know how you see those videos where it's like someone comes back to see a gorilla for the first time in 5 years and they recognize them and they get so excited. Do sharks do that?
If you're constantly seeing the shark, possibly. We have seen some sharks that do seem to recognize certain humans. Whether there's a large gap in between and they'd still be able to recognize you, not sure. I don't think it's been tested.
Yeah.
Okay, Aparna, your turn. You get to ask one question.
I've heard that if you run into a shark in the water, just happen to see one, and it tries to attack you, you punch it in the nose. Is that correct?
Yes, but if you've ever tried to punch anything underwater, it's quite slow. Go for the gills.
Punch the gills.
Yeah, it's like punching someone in the lungs.
A thing that we've all done. We've all punched someone in the lungs, obviously. Zhubin, what about you?
I have a question, but based on Demi and Aparna's question, I have another question now. If I run into a shark, what is the best thing I can do so that it remembers me for the next time I run into the shark?
Punch it? Maybe?
It'll remember me, and it'll be like, wow, that guy does not. That guy
it might. I mean, how many times have you been punched and not remember it?
But will it remember me and like, I remember that guy, I'm going to finish the job this time? Or is it going to be like, hey.
Oh,
It like brings its shark older brother to come beat you up.
Yeah, this is what I'm worried about. I'm worried there's a whole group of them that come.
Or is it like you punch them in the gills and they're like, all right, well, I respect you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're cool now.
Or is it like, I'll be at like work and it shows up at work like a month later being like, remember me?
do you know what? If it shows up at work, I'll pay for your hospital bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Melissa, we're also getting some great questions from the audience. Here's a really simple one that I have no clue the answer to. What do you call a group of sharks? Is it a pod, a flock, a pack? What do you call a group of sharks?
Good question. There's two different ones. One of them is school, but the actual accurate term is a shiver.
A shiver of sharks.
Ooh.
Wow.
That is
That is very cool.
very sleek.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have lots more questions for you over the course of this show. I mean, we could just do this segment for the whole amount of time that we have. But let's move into our first game, which we call Fully Suitable for Work Photos. So, panelists, I'm going to show you some photos of Melissa doing her work, and you have to guess what is happening in this photo. And remember, we're giving points for the best wrong answers. Now, audience, if you're watching this, put your best guesses into the chat. And then at the end of the round, we're also going to have you vote for which panelists' responses you think deserve the prize for winning this round. So let's get started. The first photo is for you, Zhubin. What's happening in this photo?
I guess this is Melissa not doing her job, like skipping out on a day of work and trying to write off as a work expense.
Melissa, what is that correct? That could be correct.
No, I'm actually working.
You're smiling a lot
working.
and being in sunglasses for someone who's at work. But
That's my office attire. Thank you very much. That is me working with one of the marine tech things that I use, which is a drone out in the background. So that little orange thing in the back, that's a drone.
And you use that to fly over the ocean to see them from above because it's harder to see them from land? Is that why?
Yeah, so for that specific one, I hover over a specific like GPS coordinate where we're going to drop underwater cameras afterwards. And so we're looking for the sharks there from, well, bird's eye view, essentially.
Can you see them? Like, do they have to be like pretty shallow in the water for you to see them, or can you see them pretty deep?
I'm in a pretty shallow area, like I'm where there's coral reefs, sandy bottoms and stuff like that. Like I'm not seeing to the bottom of the ocean, essentially.
Right.
It's funny, the idea that sharks react to drones the same way civilians in Middle Eastern countries react to drones, though. It's like, oh no.
Okay.
Also, all of us work in show business. All the panelists work in show business, and that's pretty much a shallow area as well.
Yeah, you could easily track and tag us.
Well, Aparna, we're going to actually have our second photo is for you. So
Okay.
Aparna, what do you think is happening in this photo?
Oh. Okay, well, I think I pretty much have my answer ready no matter what the photo was, and that is while Melissa's at work, she is also thinking about plotting to destroy an ex's life.
So you think that was her down under the water? Is that what was happening, Melissa?
Not at that particular point, but yeah, there have been moments. Army of sharks, why not?
I also noticed you have a really fantastically done braid underwater too. You don't wear like a skin cap under there.
For sometimes I do, but usually I just try to have a braid because otherwise I end up looking like the Little Mermaid. You get hair everywhere. It's sometimes photogenic, usually just annoying.
So is that kind of how close you are normally to sharks?
Yeah, we get pretty close up to the sharks. There are some times where not underwater, mostly up on the boats, we will actually have to restrain them, but underwater we do get quite close to them.
I couldn't help but notice you have nothing between you and the shark. Is that common?
Yeah, depending the species, we usually don't have something in between us and the shark. Some species, our line of defense is like a PVC pipe where we just kind of boop them on the nose to like make them go back. And for other species like the great white, we are usually in a cage.
Oh, wow. That's like the uncle who walks around with a baseball bat being like, I'll protect my house.
What is the species in this photo?
This one is a 7-gill shark in South Africa.
Whoa.
And we actually have a question from one of the audience members. They have a young son who's watching, who's obsessed with sharks, and he wants to know what's the weirdest shark species?
Great question.
I would have to say probably the weirdest has to be the goblin shark, just because of how much they can extend their jaw forward, and the fact also that they're like a pink color.
Yeah, that sounds pretty weird. A pink goblin shark that can extend its jaw.
It's weird. In the chat right now, I'm also saying that there is a little goblin shark watching, and it is very upset with what it's hearing right now. It really got its feelings hurt.
Love you.
Sorry.
Last one. This one's for you, Demi.
Sorry.
No,
sorry, Melissa, I just had a quick question. Am I to understand that the great white shark kind of takes up all the worry that people have about sharks eating them, and that actually most other species of shark are actually not, they don't care about eating humans?
Yeah, so vast majority of sharks are harmless to humans. There are a few that we have occasional run-ins with, such as great white shark, bull sharks, tiger sharks. But according to the International Shark Attack file, the one that we have the most run-ins with is the great white shark.
Wow, just another example of great white privilege.
Yeah.
Propaganda against sharks is vast.
What a stereotype that the sharks have to like counter too. Oh, holding them back.
All right, Demi, last one in this round. What's happening in this photo?
Okay. What's happening in this photo is a man in the background has just cut up a bunch of onions to feed this tiny shark. And the tiny shark, they're doing a sort of a, what's it called? Officer and a Gentleman, where Melissa has just come to the shark's work and picked up the shark and love lift us up where we yeah. And yeah, it's really just a powerful moment of love between woman and shark. And then someone's cutting onion. The guy's sneezing in the back. That's unrelated.
No, I think this is, no, Melissa, my gut is that this has to be 100% correct. It feels correct.
Oh, it's definitely a moment of love between me and the shark, 100%.
All right. Yes. And that man in the back was making an expression of tears, I think. So
yeah, he was moved.
All right. Well, listen, right now we're going to figure out who won that round. Did Demi nail it enough for you to think that he won? In the poll, click over there, audience members, and tell us, who do you think won this one? Now, was it the person who got it the wrongest? Was it the person whose answer you enjoyed the most? Or are you just an agent of chaos who's going to vote willy-nilly? You have the power. Choose right now. And while you are voting, we are going to move right into our next game, which is called Grant Me That. Grant me that. The E is a euro sign. It's very fancy money. That's the only way we could make it work with the filling out a letter, was the E is a euro sign. So here we go. In this segment, panelists, you're going to have to guess how much some of the equipment that Melissa uses in her research costs. And we're going to do it Price is Right style. So you want to get as close as you can without going over. So everyone understands that she's going to be using shark bait. How much do you think this sack of shark bait costs? And audience, put your guesses in the chat as well. What do you think? How much do you think that sack of shark bait cost?
That looks like maybe like 50 fish. And if you go by the price of sushi in New York, I'm going to say $7,000.
Whoa.
Okay, yeah. And so is she using a shark bait, New York sushi grade fish That's possible. $7,000. Demi?
Well, does she like the sharks or not? That's a question here.
I do love the scale that Zhubin is using. I think I'm gonna go with the menu prices at Red Lobster and go a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna say that is a $50 bag of shark bait.
Ooh.
Okay, so far, Aparna, so far both Zhubin and Demi believe that this was bought at a restaurant.
Yeah.
So, Aparna, what do you think?
Okay, I'm gonna use the Price is Right strategy. I don't know exactly why people do this, but I'm gonna bid $1, one sweet dollar.
Okay, bidding $1 for a reason that she does not understand is Aparna. And how much did that sack of shark bait cost? $200.
Whoa.
So, Demi, you were closest without going over. Very nice work there. Zhubin, they don't respect the sharks enough, unfortunately. That's
At all. Boy, these poor
We have
sharks.
a lot of sharks we have to take care of. We it's medium to low grade. They're not picky.
Okay, well, next photo. How much do you think one of these setups cost? This is something that Melissa uses in her work. So I don't know. You don't know what that is. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. What do you think that thing costs looking at it?
Looks like
I'll tell you right now, this looks like one of the new things that you have to buy a small baby so that they can play in it, but also won't hurt themselves. And if I'm going by the price of that in Brooklyn, I'm going to say $7,000.
To me, it looks like kind of like a Bowflex machine for sharks. So I'm gonna go with, let's see, I'm gonna go with $250.
But do they throw in extra Bowflex equipment for free if you order now?
Yeah, I actually don't know how much a Bowflex costs, so I'm gonna say bump it up to $300.
Okay, great. I like that my follow-up question made you add money to it. Demi, what do you think?
I feel like it looks like the machine that shoots out the balls at a batting cage, but portable in case you really need to shoot balls at you from like a 4 feet away distance. And that's got to be expensive. So I'm gonna say $500.
Okay, let's find out how much it cost. $5,000.
Oh,
Zhubin,
Oh,
you're
I was the closest.
way too high.
Way too high.
But I was the closest.
you were the closest.
You're the closest.
You were the closest, but you went over. Unfortunately, you believe that Melissa is just wasting grant money left and right. Like
I don't respect scientists. That money should be going to corporations. I do not respect the scientists or the grant money.
Let Google go to the sea.
Yeah.
So, Melissa, that is a machine that you call the BRUV, right?
Yeah, so that's called a baited remote underwater video camera. It's a fancy way of saying it's a GoPro with a housing so the sharks don't eat it. It's got a little treat bag at the end so it entices them to come closer to the camera so we can ID them.
Oh.
That's pretty expensive, $5,000, but you made it yourself.
Cameras.
Yeah.
What's in the treat bag?
It's fish. It's a type of fish. It's those not restaurant quality fishies that we put in that bag, but they love it anyways.
Okay, last
I'm
one.
glad that it's not a Bowflex though. I'm very much, I don't know what the point would be to make the sharks stronger and jack them up more. I'm very glad it's not a Parnas.
Revenge.
Okay, last one. What do you think one of those Swell Pro drones that Melissa said she uses before, how much do you think one of those drones costs? Here's a photo of it.
I mean, that looks like it's plastic. So so now I'm gonna go $50.
If this sways you, it's waterproof too.
All right, $52.
I'm gonna go super high this time. I'm gonna say $10,000.
Oh wow. I mean, that's probably right. I feel like I'm just going off of what I've known other drones to cost, and it's like always like 1,000 or so. So I'm gonna say $1,000.
Okay, let's find out the price. What does a Swell Pro drone cost? $2,139, very exact.
Wow.
And I believe that means that you had a clean sweep, Demi.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
That is a man who plays Price is Right. He plays Price is
Yeah.
Right.
He does. He
In my-
does.
Melissa, you gotta have Demi budget your
Yeah.
expedition.
Demi, I've got a project coming up. We gotta talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Zhubin is running the corporate competition for you where everything is high-end luxury. Okay, well, that was Grant Me That. And now in our next segment, we're going to let one lucky audience member ask Melissa any question that they want about sharks. But nothing in life comes for free. So in exchange, our comedians are then going to get to ask that audience member a question. This is Q&A and Q. Okay, today, our audience member who is getting pulled in, who is going to get to ask you, Melissa, a question is Steph Marr, who is a librarian in Massachusetts. Hi, Steph. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Hi. How's the weather in Massachusetts right now?
It's okay.
Great. That's about what you can ask for these days. So, Steph, you understand that you're going to be asking Melissa a question, but the catch is that after she answers your question, you will have to pay by answering a question that our comedians ask you. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, then ask away.
All right. So, Melissa, I'm a librarian. So my question is, what's your favorite book about sharks?
That's a good question. I think my favorite book about sharks right now has to be the one from one of my friends, Jess Keating, which is Shark Lady. And it's based on Eugenie Clark, which was a glass ceiling shattering shark scientist who I actually was lucky enough to meet before she passed away recently. So that's definitely probably one of my favorite because she's just an amazing role model.
Incredible answer. Okay, so now panel, you as a whole, you can collectively ask Steph one question. So what would you like to ask Steph?
We don't each get a question?
No, that's too many questions. Just one question for the three of you.
I kind of want to ask her where she gets those awesome glasses from.
I was
But
gonna
I
ask
also the what?
What were you gonna ask?
earrings.
The earrings? Yes.
Whole
yes.
outfit.
We could ask her. We could sneak both questions into one question.
Yeah, where
just say,
do you
where did you get
source
those?
your outfit from?
Yes. Yes. We could also go a bit harder and ask her. I know librarians hate banning books, so we could ask her if there's one book that you had to ban, what would it be?
Ooh.
Really put her on the spot. What do you
Or
guys think?
there's a book that she would want to ban. What would it be?
That she would want to ban? Sure.
Yeah,
Which one? You guys want outfit or you want a hard-hitting question?
I want everyone to be canceled, so I would say ban.
Sure.
The
Yeah,
ban book.
let's go ban book.
Let's see if we can hold on. Let me try and see if we can ask it both. Steph, if where would you be going on your way to get your outfit if you were thinking about what book you wanted to ban, and what book would that be?
Okay.
That feels like
all
the
right.
most concise way to ask both those questions. So yeah, let's go with that.
So I would have ordered my glasses. My glasses would have come in online before I left for work. And I
Sure.
would have passed by a cute little shop up in Bar Harbor, Maine to get these earrings before I went to the library to ban, I don't know. It's just not in me. Yeah, it's like you asked the librarian the one question. Like, if I had to choose something, it would be whatever book Donald Trump puts out next.
Oh,
Okay, a future ban. There you go. Thank you so much for being here, Steph. We forced you into a position that you didn't want to be in. That's the whole point of the show, is making our audience members feel uncomfortable and jeopardizing their employment. So, see you later. Thanks for being here. Okay, so now, Melissa, we've heard a little bit about your research, but we want to find out a little bit more about you as a human. So we are going to play a game of 2 truths and a lie. So in this game, one, obviously everyone knows how 2 truths and a lie works. 2 of these are true, 1 is a lie. Panelists, you're going to have to guess which is which. So which of these 3 sentences, which of these facts is not true? Number 1, as a kid, Melissa had a pet tarantula. In high school, Melissa played the mellophone in marching band. Or Melissa was once bitten and dragged by a crocodile. What do you think? Which of those 3 do you think is the lie?
Wow.
Not mellophone. That's too specific.
You think melatonin is definitely a truth?
I think that's a truth. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't even know what it is. It's gotta.
Yeah,
It can't be a lie. It's that specific. Yeah, I agree with you, Demi.
But it is really specific. Okay, if it's real, then that one's real, I think.
I mean, do you think getting bitten and dragged by the crocodile is what made her into sharks in the first place?
Right. She was like, I'm gonna go in the water now.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he meant it the other way, Aparna. I think he meant like a shark. Sharks are not the animal that attacked me. Not, ooh, this was so fun. I'd love to get in the water with another one.
I didn't say which way I thought it was
I
going to go.
assumed the crocodile was on land, but that is probably incorrect.
You know what's funny is because the crocodile one makes so much sense. That's why I'm like, I think it's a lie. It's a trick.
It's too
Yeah.
it's too Hollywood.
Yeah.
It is Hollywood, isn't it? Okay,
But
so let's say the tarantula.
The tarantula to me seems so innocuous that I kind of think it's the lie, but I always think it's the most mundane one.
All right, well, let's go down the line. Aparna, make a choice. Which one do you think is the lie?
I'll go with tarantula because I've been on a losing streak and I like to keep that going.
Okay, Zhubin, which one do you think is the lie?
I'm going to go with number one. I think tarantula is the lie because I think she really was bitten by a crocodile and dragged.
Okay, and Demi?
I'm going to go bitten by a crocodile. I think that's the lie.
All right, let's find out. Which one is the lie?
The
You do
tarantula.
not have a pet tarantula.
Whoa.
In fact, Melissa, you are afraid of spiders. That's the only animal you're afraid of, not crocodiles, which did bite you and drag you. You're not afraid of them, but you are afraid of spiders.
Yeah.
Why?
Why are you not afraid of crocodiles? Did you think well, the crocodile, I deserve to be bitten and dragged by the crocodile? He was right in the situation?
No, it's just to this day, I don't know. I'm just not afraid of them. Spiders, I can't trust them. I lose track of them and I'm like, ooh, I might accidentally ingest you. No. Whereas a crocodile, I know most of the time where it is, except that one time. Like chances of that happening again, very, very slow.
Almost nothing. Oh, the amount of time you spend in the water, almost nothing.
Yeah, plus a crocodile, you can look in the eyes.
Yeah,
Spiders, too
honest.
many eyes. Which one do you
Yeah.
look at?
How did you get bitten? What happened?
I was scuba diving, so it was actually underwater. I was scuba diving, filming a show for about sharks, and the crocodile bit and dragged me for a little bit, and then was like, no, I don't like spicy Mexican, and then spat me out.
And someone is asking here, what is it like when someone in the chat's asking, what's it like living in Australia and being afraid of spiders? They have a lot of big spiders.
Oh, yeah.
Knock on wood, I haven't seen any big ones because I don't live in the tropics. It's so far been okay. The crocodiles and I have an understanding. I've already been bitten by one of them. It's not going to happen again. Drop bears, we have an understanding. The spiders and I are trying to figure something out.
Well, you also played the mellophone. We learned that.
I did. It's a mashup of the French horn and the trumpet put together. So I did play that in marching band.
Cool.
Well, that
Okay,
feels like
so-
it shouldn't exist.
It's lovely.
We learned a lot of these facts from your boyfriend, Connor. We actually have a photo of you and him. Yeah, he's a lot taller than you. He's like a
Whoa.
and those are, I assume these are normal size flowers, but it kind of does look like both of you are very tiny. Like you're both like doll sized and this is okay.
He's a very big doll. He's 6'6" and I'm like 5'1" on a good day. So very cuddly doll.
So Connor, I can't, he gave us a lot of great information for the two truths and a lie, but then he also shared something that I just feel compelled that it was so interesting. I feel like we have to share.
Oh gosh.
When we talked with Connor, I asked him, what is it like to date a shark scientist? And this is what he said.
Without dating a shark scientist, you will see more sharks than you've ever seen in your life. I have never seen so many shark penises and so many sharks having sex.
Incredible that he immediately went to, I've seen more shark penises than I ever expected.
I mean, that's how many he's seen. That's all he can think about now.
That's extreme, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I have every time with those videos and whatnot, sometimes you see some really frisky stuff or there's just penis in the camera and I was like, look at this, and he's like, oh look, another one. That's my 50th for today.
We have a lot of great questions from the audience too. I want to get a few more of these in, which is, what is something on your shark bucket list? Is there something that you want to see or do?
Yes, I really, really want to go scuba diving or snorkeling with basking sharks, with all three, well, technically all three of the filter feeders. So whale sharks, basking sharks, and megamouth sharks. Absolutely ginormous animals, but very gentle unless they smack you with their tail by accident.
And then another question that a lot of people have been asking is, what's your favorite fictional shark? Or is there a fictional shark that you like?
Bruce from Jaws. The OG.
But a lot of shark scientists hate him because he scared people of sharks, right?
Yeah, you know what? It's a really interesting thing. A lot of my shark scientist friends were actually inspired by Bruce to become scientists, where a lot of people who I know are afraid of sharks, like, nope, that's the reason why. So it's a love-hate relationship with this great white.
Panelists, any other questions for Melissa?
Yeah, this is kind of a sad question, but I was wondering, since you're down in Australia, do sharks down there, have they been, I assume they've been affected by the Great Coral Reef being affected by climate change? Is it something that like the sharks depend on significantly, or are they kind of, how affected by it are they? Is it something that if that the sharks will still be around, or are they going to be moving on to other waters?
Great question. For some species who you can only just find on the coral reef, yeah, they do depend on that ecosystem. So the fact that it is breaking down is starting to impact them. And climate change in general is impacting sharks. We're seeing them in places that we normally haven't seen them before. It's affecting how they're actually being born and their brain processes and whatnot. So we're unfortunately just getting to the tip of the iceberg of how this is going to impact sharks for the long run.
Are sharks, I know that a group of sharks is called a shiver, but I've always thought of them as kind of not social creatures. Are any of the kinds of sharks more social than others?
Yeah, there are some species that they wouldn't have friends per se, but they do like associating with some individuals more than others.
That's like me.
Yeah, same.
Are sharks like truly top of the food chain, or do they have like a natural enemy, or are they prey to anyone?
Yeah, so very good question. A lot of sharks, a lot of people say that sharks are apex predators. That's a very specific definition. So not all of them are top predators. For example, great whites, scared of orcas because orcas usually eat them. But there's over 500 different species, and we're finding new species all the time. So yeah, they're pretty high up there on the food chain, but they do become other like meals for other animals, including other sharks.
What accounts for so many? What accounts for so many new species? Like, it's like, to me, that's like discovering a new part of the earth. I'm like, well, we should have gotten them all by now, right?
Nah, the ocean's a really big place, and a lot of them they're actually like old specimens that we have found from museums that we're just looking at again, and we're like, oh, actually this one's different from all the other ones. So it's interesting what you find in museums, that's for sure.
We're getting a lot of questions in the chat as well that are about some that are kind of leading questions for you. So I'll just give you one of those. What's your favorite Pokemon? I'm expecting it's Sharpedo.
Do you know what? I really like Sharpedo, but if I've got to go for the OG, Togepi or Mewtwo is probably one of my favorites.
Okay,
wow.
This is a real Pokemon fan.
Yeah,
here.
what a learned answer.
Wow.
Okay, another one is, how do shark scientists feel about the song Baby Shark?
Do you know what? We were aware of the song before it started going viral. Now my future children are going to listen to every single rendition of it. And that just comes like, that's in the contract for like my partners being like, if we have children, they will listen to this. They're signed.
Wow, you're going to be the first mom whose kids get sick of that song before you do.
I aspire to that.
Here's a related one, which is, do sharks recognize music?
Yes, so there's actually here in Australia, there are a few people who are actually trying to, instead of attracting sharks with bait, they're trying to attract them with music, different vibrations of it. A few years ago, it actually made news that sharks were apparently heavy metal fans. And it makes sense because the lower vibrations of like, say, AC/DC songs are very similar to the vibrations of a wounded or dying fish.
Absolutely.
Oh.
That is an incredible pitchfork review of any album. Incredibly similar to the sounds of a dying.
Attracts sharks sounds like dying animal.
Well, listen, Melissa, we are coming right to the end of our time. This has been so fascinating. We could literally just sit here and ask you questions all day, but we're coming to the end of the show. So we are going to check in on the score. It looks to me like Demi has 4 points, Aparna has 1, and Zhubin has 0. So
Yeah.
that means that Zhubin, you won by having the most wrong answers. And
Demi's like,
you
what?
lost by winning. It's wrong answers only.
Shoot the moon, baby.
Demi won by having the best wrong answers. And the only thing we know for sure is that Aparna, you did not win because you were neither the best nor the worst. So next time, do better or worse. You know, you make a choice. And before we finally wrap this all up, Melissa, let's go to you one last time. What is the biggest thing that you hope everyone who is watching takes away about sharks?
That there is such a diversity in this species, and I hope people can understand that an ocean without sharks is a lot scarier than an ocean with them.
Okay, panelists, that is what Melissa hopes that we all take away from tonight's show. But what will you actually be taking away? Aparna,
Shark
what are you going to take
penises.
away from tonight's show?
That I've never seen a shark penis, but once I see one, it's all that I will think about. So I have to consider whether I'm prepared to make that leap.
Okay, Zhubin, what are you going to take away?
I've learned that I can be bitten by crocodiles and survive, and that most sharks are afraid of me. So I've learned that I have nothing to fear from sharks or any animal of any sort. So I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
Okay, great. And Demi, what about you? What have you learned?
I've learned that the New York sushi industry is in dire need of regulation.
Okay, thank you so much to all three of you for playing. We are, that is our show. That you are going to, if for all of you who are watching, everyone in the audience, you will tomorrow morning get a post-show email from us. And in that email, there are going to be bonus clips. There's going to be a secret photo of a shark. There is going to be a quiz. And if you answer that trivia question right, you will be featured in next episode's Scroll of Glory. So look out for that. That's going to have bonus information, lots of ways to get deeper into Melissa's work, to read her papers. We have a video in there where she breaks down what is wrong with shark attacks in different movies. And for each of our panelists, you're going to have great jokes and comedy videos, links to their work, and how to find more out about them. We will be back on May 13th next month with a whole new episode all about black holes with comedian panelists Josh Gondelman, Naomi Ekperigin, and Emily Heller. It's an amazing lineup. You do not want to miss it. In the meantime, though, thank you so much to tonight's scientists, Melissa Christina Marquez. Thank you to our panelists, Demi Adejuyigbe, Aparna Nancherla, and Zhubin Parang. Thank you so much as well to everyone at the National Academy of Sciences and to LabX. And thank you to everyone who made this show possible on the back end. It took an incredible amount of work, and they did an incredible job. Thank you to Jesse and the whole tech team. I am your host, and this has been Wrong Answers Only. Find out more about this show and future episodes online at labx.org/WAO. Have a great night.